Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your host and the founder of Digital Fight Club, Michael Pratt!
Good evening, Possible, and welcome to Digital Fight Club. Everybody take a seat, especially you hoi pollois over there in the VIP area. You can stay there and drink if you want to, that's okay. My name is Michael Pratt. I'm the host of Digital Fight Club, and as you saw in the opening montage, tonight represents our 31st Digital Fight Club over the span of 12 years. Thank you. That's it. Not a lot of yelling and screaming. That's better. And it's the very first one we've ever done at Possible. Now, Christian came to me after the 2 shows we did at Cannes last year and said, I want to stir up the content a little bit at Possible next year, and this is how we're doing it, and trust me, we're going to stir some shit up, okay? So, the voice of God you hear with the smooth talking partner in crime that I have is Damani, and you're going to hear him throughout the show. If you weren't able to make it here, we're being broadcast on 2 channels, YouTube TV and Orca TV, so my mother's watching. Hello, Mom. I've always wanted to say that. Okay. We have a tradition here at Digital Fight Club that we say thank you to the folks that wrote big checks that helped make this happen. Because as you can see, there's some hellacious production quality going on here, but we only do it with a tradition that started when I was a cadet at West Point. We do 1 clap. That way nobody gets their feelings hurt, and it's super easy for the crowd, okay? I'm gonna go like this, and you're gonna clap. It's really, really easy. We're gonna start off with our first thank you, Clinch. You guys are smart. All right, this must be a marketing crowd. Fluent. Nice. Framewerx.ai. I'm going to stop you because the tech that you saw with the shadow box, the LED high tops, the obelisks with the LEDs on them, was founded by one of the very first fighters at Digital Fight Club 12 years ago, who's here in the audience. His company is Glass Media. Brands use them all over the place. That's awesome. 1 clap for Glass Media. And Human, In Market, Mutinex, Orca TV, Resonate, Stackadapt, Teeds, and YieldMo. All right. Isn't that much better than like little golf clap stuff? Yeah, exactly. Now, the best job, aside from me being a snarky host, is the role of the referee, all right? They get to call BS on the fighters and make this the level of event that it is. So let's meet our refs. One of these days, I want to be a referee. One of these days. Now, I'm not going to introduce them. First of all, you know who they are. But please, tell us who you are, Todd.
Todd Kaplan, Chief Marketing Officer, Kraft Heinz.
Excellent. Lori.
Hello, Lori Lamb, Chief Brand Officer at Elf Cosmetics.
And Shannon.
Shannon Reed, Global Chief Media Officer at General Motors.
Woo! All right. I'm telling you, it is the most fun job on stage. But we would not be Digital Fight Club if we didn't have fighters. So I will direct your attention to the back of the room, and please help me welcome our fighters. Psyched. They probably have a cocktail in them. They're fired up, but they are nervous as hell, and you're going to see why. Now, let's talk about the rules, okay? You all think you know what the first rule of Digital Fight Club is, but the first rule of Digital Fight Club is you talk about Digital Fight Club. So you should be doing that on your socials, okay? But the topics are chosen. We solicited all the CMOs that we could find. What are the issues you're struggling with? Because nobody cares what ad tech wants to fight about. Nobody cares what the agencies want to fight about. It's the people with the big checkbooks that have problems to solve in the area of marketing. So we synthesize those into fight topics, and that's how we came up with the fight topics. Now, each fighter gets a 45-second open, okay, to state their position. And then after that, we have rebuttal rounds that are no longer than 30 seconds, but it's going to be a bar brawl, okay? These guys can buzz in. Todd, give me a buzz. Anytime they want and call bullshit, all right? But almost as important as that is you guys. If you like what a fighter's saying, I want to hear you cheer. If you disagree, I want to hear you heckle. Fighting isn't easy. It's very hard because you're calling them out on it. You'll never see that at another keynote speech, okay? You don't like what they say. Now, no gratuitous heckling. We've kicked people out for name calling, but you're better than that. We know that, okay? All right, do we understand the rules? That was pretty meager. Do we understand the rules? Yeah. Thank you. Let's fight. All right, our first fight is going to be on the agency value proposition in the age of AI. What is it going to do to the ad agency? Okay, this is going to be awesome. Damani, why don't you tell us who we got fighting here?
He's the founder and CEO of Luma Partners, advising on some of the biggest ad tech deals in the world. He's known for his outside personality and post-conference parody videos. And he created the Lumascape, the only chart that makes marketers feel smart and a little confused all at the same time. Please welcome Terence Kawaja. He's the founder of MediaLink and now CEO of 3C Ventures, one of the most connected deal makers in the industry. He's operated at the center of major media, marketing, and entertainment relationships for decades. And he's attended so many executive dinners, Open Table calls him for recommendations. Please welcome Michael Kassan.
All right, Terence is going to go first, but just to clear the air and let you understand, he's going to argue that agencies are going to suffer, and he's going to argue that they're going to flourish. Terence, you got 45 seconds. Go.
Look, nobody's arguing whether agencies are not smart or creative or historically value-added. They are. What we're talking about today, this debate, is about whether their business model survives contact with AI. The trend for 20 years is unmistakable. Technology firms have usurped more value as they control more digital ad spend, and AI is going to accelerate that. How? Because they do what agencies charge for, time and expertise. And when those two things are becoming abundant, well, guess what? Your margins are on borrowed time.
All right, Michael, you got 45 seconds to open, brother.
So I just want you all to know when you vote, Terry's trying to tell you you're going to lose your fucking jobs. But I'm going to hire you, so I'm just trying to stack the deck. So I know you think we're in 2026, but we're really in 1859, because 1859 there were two people that defined the problem or the challenge that we're talking about today. And those two people were Charles Dickens and Charles Darwin. You may wonder why I'm trying to sound erudite when I'm going to kick Terry's ass shortly, but in 1859, Charles Dickens wrote his famous tome, A Tale of Two Cities, and you'll remember he opened with the best of times, the worst of times. If that doesn't apply to this conversation, I don't know what does. And the other Chuck, Charles Darwin, he wrote on the origin of the species. And you might remember in that book, he talked about only those who can adapt will survive. So there you go.
All righty. Now we're going to enter the rebuttal rounds. Terry, you got 30 seconds. What say you?
Well, I like this idea of adaption because arguably the best example of an adaption of an agency that has flourished is Publicis. They've certainly won more than their fair share of global marketing claims. However, hang on, folks. Bear in mind that this is the top performer in this entire class, and do you think that their AI would manifest in their financials? This is a company that's going to grow at 4.5% this year at 18% margins. Not exactly platform economics.
All righty. 30 seconds, Michael.
I'll take Terry on a balance sheet anytime. I totally disagree with that. He's out of his fucking mind, but thank you. Okay, you've got an industry with over $100 billion of revenue and pretty good margins. So I would submit to you that the conversation is really about the challenge marketers have. And the challenge marketers have isn't whether or not they should be using agencies. We're in a complex world, and the AI transformation that we're all going through does require your agency. It does require the thinking. We are still in the world where humans matter.
30 seconds, Terry.
Listen, here's the problem, Michael. Nostalgia is not a strategy. In the last 20 years, okay, I get it. You're a bunch of agency guys that Michael filled the room with. Good. But I'll go on the merits. In the last 20 years, the agency group as a whole are down 40%, down 38 billion. The Google, Meta, and Amazon are up 8 trillion. Speaks for itself.
30 seconds.
Nostalgia may not be a platform, but neither is comedy for investment banking. I'm just saying. Let's get... Couldn't resist, Terry.
It's got to be a clean fight, right?
Let's get real. Whoa, I've got 13 seconds to get real. This model, the adaptability, as I said, you have more complexity, more decisions, and more help than you've ever needed as a marketer. And I'm telling you, the agency model is here to stay.
That's okay. 30 seconds in rebut. Go ahead, Terry.
Okay, just repeating the same line is not exactly a, sufficient debate tactic. Just because you say it doesn't make it true. We all know, we've heard agentic a million times at possible, but we're moving to a world where it's going to be a more metacratic decisioning of media buying. Why? Because the agentic tools that are making the decisions did not show up at your can activation.
And we have our first buzzer.
I'm going to call bullshit on that. First of all, can I have one of these for home?
Yes, you may. For your kids or your husband?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Outstanding.
But I will say I'll call bullshit on that because for me, what doesn't replace the agency model is the creative and the instinct and the gut that we all have and the fire in the belly and the ladder of inferences that we have that we are building our next campaign upon. And the insights, don't even get me started there. If we didn't have AI to help us with the insights to drive into action, we'd all be dead. So I'm going to challenge you on that point, and I'm going to give you the floor to take that. Sweep him clean.
Michael, you're going to go first. 30 seconds, all right? Step over here. 30 seconds, go.
Can I just sing?
You may. Could you have an answer embedded in your song?
No, I don't. But I'm not sure if I'm answering Terry's question or the buzzer.
You're addressing Lori's point.
I agree that the creative process, and I'll give you the example. I'll make this in my 30 seconds. I asked programmers over the years as data became more important in television programming. I've looked at a lot of senior executives who greenlight programming, and what I've said to them over the years is, do you do this with your gut or do you do it with the data? And the answer is they still do it with their gut, informed by the data. So I agree with you.
The floor is yours, 30 seconds.
Look, I don't disagree. I'm not saying agencies are going away, and I don't disagree that agencies will be play a vital role in high-level creative and in strategy. There's a lot of aspects that agencies will still survive. However, those are increasingly becoming a smaller portion of the total economics of an agency, which are largely driven by media buying, which is largely moving to more automation with AI and less about agency.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, you know, when I keep hearing the word agentic, it gives me a little bit of a twitch because some of you might know I didn't have great experience with agents in the past. But on the other hand, as we're learning how to market agent to agent, we have to learn how to transact agent to agent. We also have to understand and the efficacy of the agency if the agency is the right agency. So the question isn't should we have agencies? Maybe we need less agencies, but we need agencies that are more intelligent. So therefore, we still need them.
Terry?
Yeah, I agree. I think we need more that are probably fewer of them that are more intelligent, that do a very valuable and very vital job in the marketing equation. It's just that the bulk of where they've made money, the workflow, the time, is being usurped by technology.
Hold on, Todd's got something.
So you keep talking about making money. That's how you talk about the agencies. The role of the agency is to make money. And when you think about the holding company model, we talk about another famous economist, a man by the name of Adam Smith, talked about this idea of the invisible hand. As a client, you feel that holding company pressure to deliver the growth, the performance, all of that. And I'd like to understand if the role of the agency is to deliver better work, or is it to deliver more profit? If you're saying fewer and bigger, better agencies is the end of the day, where this is going to net out, I don't know that that's a better thing, better future that Michael's talking about.
You go first. 30 seconds.
Excellent point. The agency needs to deliver on the client objectives, and the client objectives are they want to sell more of their goods and services. That means outcomes. And there is no greater accelerant of the drive towards outcomes than AI. Again, they didn't go to your can activation. They don't care about this. 100% quality if quality leads to outcomes, but the AI technology will make that decision and optimize it, and that won't be the value differential for the agencies. It'll be supplied by someone else.
Terry, you're implying that the AI won't know about the can activations. Of course they will. Especially if they're mine.
They don't drink.
They'll certainly know about it if it's the right engine.
Go ahead.
You know, we don't have to guess about a world that is more like outcomes. We actually have it. It exists. It's in the mobile app world. And there, companies, it's a massive multi-hundred billion dollar industry where the intermediaries are optimizing on the basis of outcomes, and there's no agencies.
All right. We're getting close to the end, so I want you to take 30 seconds and wrap your position. Bring it home, and then you'll be the last word, Terence Kawaja.
I'll go back to where I started. $100 billion of revenue, massive profits, a marketplace that is more complex than ever. You need your agencies, they need you. It's the right partnership, and it's the right way to go, and that is the future.
Terence?
Yeah, so number one, I agree. There's gonna be plenty of agencies. I'm just talking about overall economics. Look, the best prediction markets in the world are not Polymarket or Kalshi. It's the stock market. And the stock market values these AI companies in the trillions and the holdcos barely north of 1x revenue. The market has spoken, and the future is going to be great because there's going to be smaller, less economically viable agencies, and there's going to be a lot of better outcomes for marketers, and I think that's something we should all cheer for.
All right, now here's how we vote. You guys are the judges. They're the refs. You're the judges, and we listen to you. We're going to measure how loud you get, and someone's going to get the coveted pink Digital Fight Club boxing gloves. All right, so we're going to start with Michael first. Everybody give it up. Who thinks Michael Kassan won this fight? Who thinks Terry Kawaja won this fight? The dark horse wins Digital Fight Club. So that was awesome, right? Better than any panel you've ever been to. Let's fight. Okay, this next fight, fight number 2. I'm sorry to do this to you, but there's a lot of AI tonight, okay? I know next year we won't do any AI fights, but we have 3, I think, this year. This one is about AI and content and the battle between the two of them, okay? So, Damani, who we got?
He's the founder and CEO of Influential, one of the largest influencer marketing platforms in the world. He's known for working with top-tier celebrities and global campaigns, and he's built a fortune convincing brands to trust people who film in their cars. Please welcome Ryan Detert. He's the CEO of the Palmer Group, longtime CNN contributor and professor at Syracuse University. He's spent decades as a media personality and voice in tech and marketing. And he's been on camera so long, he can't help but turn everything into a soundbite. Please welcome Shelly Palmer.
Believe it or not, that's the first time that's been used as a walk-up song. I got to give credit to that. I got to give credit to that. Okay, this one's an easy fight back and forth. Arguing for humans, arguing for computers. Ryan, apparently you're going first. You got the first word, 45 seconds, go.
I'm fighting on behalf of all of humanity. Please cheer me on. All right. For all of human history, creativity has not come from machines. It's come from us, the creators. Our name, our image, our likeness, our ideas. And for the first time in history, something has come along, a tool that claims they can make human ingenuity and creativity faster and further than ever before. We're not rejecting it. Instead, we're fighting for ownership. We're fighting for compensation, because it's not man versus machine. It is human with machine, owned by us, the creators in this fucking room.
All right, Shelly, you got 45 seconds.
I don't need 45 seconds. Here's the thing. There's 2 kinds of creative in the world. Inspired creative, which is done by humans who are magic, and required creative, which is done by humans who are slaves to the visionaries who are magic. What AI is going to do for us that nothing else can do and has never done before, anything that you can do by rules, you must do this leading, you must do this kerning, you must write this piece of music, this note. Anything that can be done by rules, another word for rules is algorithm. So the required creative is going to become the bastion of AI, and the magic is going to stay the world of humans. On that we agree. On the economic output, there, it's up for debate.
You got the first rebuttal, 30 seconds.
So we're looking at AI content, which by definition is a copy of a copy of a copy. It's a derivative of human intelligence and creativity. And economically, if we all help train the things that are supposed to make our lives generally better, to help inform people, to pay for all these LLMs, there should be compensation that goes to all of you, whether you're a business owner, a creator, a marketer. The things you do are being used to train for the future, and many times to replace you.
Shelly, rebuttal, 30 seconds.
Well, AI is going to take a few jobs, that's for sure. But you know what it can't do? What AI cannot do is it cannot necessarily fight for itself. So let me fight for AI for a second. What AI is going to do for us as an industry is it's going to free us up to make decisions as opposed to executions. And as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter where you get the magic from. If you say the AI can't do it, that's today.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to challenge that, and I'll tell you why. Because AI and automation is going to be continuously fed by inputs that are done by humans. Because we are getting sharper and smarter because of AI, but you need the proper inputs to do that. To say that it is not a living organism is going to be a truth that we are going to die by in this room if we think that automation is, that's it, you can set it and forget it. This is not an easy bake oven.
Nobody is.
You go first. 30 seconds, you go.
Nobody's arguing your point in any way. It's no set it and forget it. And one of the things that we're all doing right now and we're guilty of, we are all looking at the future through the lens of the present. I'd like you to look at the future through the lens of the future in a moment. And if AGI is attained, then rule-based understanding will actually make AI or AGI far more capable than any of us can understand. So while I agree with you, as I was going to look at it right this minute, sure. But if AGI is attained and it learns rules, I would beg everyone to look at AlphaZero versus AlphaGo. AlphaGo was taught 160,000 games of Go, and it was able to beat everybody who ever played it. AlphaZero was taught the rules. It played itself, learned the game, and became something different. That's what the future looks like. If you want to live in the present, knock yourself out.
I got to cut you off. You knew I had to cut off the professor. I had to cut off the professor. Ryan, 30 seconds.
Shelly, are you sponsored by Skynet?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah. Well, humans create culture. Machines cannot. And in a world where, thank you, we are in a room full of culture makers, culture creators. And if we have a scenario where you want to create more content for cheaper, sure, per your argument, there's a way to do that. But in a future where instead of it being us or any creator on these social platforms or beyond, and it not being some sort of individual that is a makeup of all those together, that is not identity, authenticity, or human.
Shelly.
Okay, guys. I have one of the largest ASCAP catalogs of anybody you're likely to meet. I've written something on the order of 5,000 television commercials in my career. I know how to take a brand brief and turn it into something that someone's going to pay for. And I'm telling you right now that you guys don't walk in. You can act creative, but someone says to me, I wanted to sound like Randy Newman met John Williams at John Mayer's house and don't get me sued. That's what the brand brief looks like. And that, my friends, can be done by a computer right now. So if you want to talk about real creative, inspired creative, Mozart, Beethoven, Picasso, those guys are legends for a reason. The work we do, a lot of you guys mash up stuff and call it your own. So don't get mad at the tools that can mash it up better than you, because they can.
Ryan. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on, this is good. This is Shen, yes.
All right.
You'll get to go.
So who pays for it? Because at the end of the day, all of those legends that you're talking about, Terry, have catalogs. You have ASCAP catalogs of content that the AIs today are being trained on. And then who pays for the creative of the future?
So it's interesting you say that.
I'll give you double. Oh, go ahead. No, go.
So it's interesting you say that, because who pays for it is a very different question than how it gets created. And if you want, we can have an argument about the economics. I'm a personal heavy fighter for creators getting compensated for their work. And I don't want to in any way stand on this stage and betray my own personal mission, which is we all need to get paid for what we do. But that's not the argument we're having here. The argument we're having here is, will an automated system be capable of doing the work that we need to do for required creative? And the answer from my perspective is yeah.
All right. We're going to give you a little extra. You got a lot to rebut. Go ahead.
So we are looking at a scenario here where all of us are training something, much like if it was Spotify. Imagine saying, well, we can all of a sudden get more access to more tools to be able to listen to our favorite music. But imagine if your favorite musicians didn't get paid, the writers, the producers, everyone in between. And that's the only thing that matters in here is not whether a sunset's prettier from AI or a human. It's whether or not we are owning our future here.
Shelly.
So if we're going to switch the conversation to, do we as human beings have a right to exist? The name of this is identity threat, and we're all threatened, in fact, terrified by AI. And if you're not terrified by AI, you don't understand it well enough. The conversation that we're supposed to be having is whether the tools are capable of doing the work. They are. Are they capable of getting us paid? Do they need to be trained on the things I was trained on? And the answer is no. They can be trained on the rules of music because music is algorithmic. Art is algorithmic in many ways. So once again, you could argue that point.
Who hit that? Who hit that? Oh, we got a flag on the play. We got a flag on the play. Todd.
Creative is not algorithmic.
I didn't say it was. I started my
You're
conversation.
talking about doing the work for creative, not about doing good creative. Again,
I'm talking about the required creative, Todd, not the inspired creative.
Who,
and they're very
who in this
different.
room wants to create required creative? Exactly.
But you all do it every day. And so, come on, stop it. We all have to, you have 50 pages of deliverables. Someone has to make the deliverables. One person had to come up with the idea. That's the inspired creative. Making the 50 different IAB standard units, you're telling me that's something that someone needs to do?
Let's see what Ryan says. 30 seconds. We're going to get back to our rules.
There's over $100 billion in lawsuits currently with the LLMs, all the platforms, based on copyright infringement. And 1.5 billion was the most recent one settled by Anthropic because of using pirated content to train their models. What we care about in this room is making sure that all of us, whatever we do all day long, providing back our intellectual property, is to help support the ecosystem of creators, marketers, builders, us.
All right, we're going to wrap. You're going to give me 30 seconds to close it up, and then we're going to last word with Ryan.
There is no doubt in anyone's mind, nor should there be, that creators need to be paid for their work. Under any circumstances, if you take anything else away from our little fight tonight, do not for 1 second think that I am not 100% about getting creators paid. I just want you guys to understand that in our industry, we are in the factory business, and part of the production is getting the required creative out the door, and there, tools are going to be able to help an awful lot. Inspired creative, God bless. Whatever you can come up with, however you can emote, you go right ahead and do it, because that's what humans do.
30 seconds. Bring us home, Ryan.
So I'll put my money where my mouth is. If anyone here has a technology company or something you're about to build or building, I will put $1 million into that company to solve this problem so that creators and people like yourselves will be able to solve this for the future. Come talk to me afterwards or hit me on LinkedIn. Thank you.
All right. Let's see who won this debate and wins these gloves. We're going to start with Shelly. Who here thinks that Shelly won this fight? Ryan Detert. We have a winner, Ryan Detert. Ryan Detert. Two for two, I think. 2 for 2, and it's going to get even better. The next fight, let's fight. All right, who here watched Mutual of Omaha as a kid? Come on, old people. Like 3 of you. Old man here in the front with that beautiful hat. Oh, he just flipped me off. I love you. I love you. Drinks are on me afterwards. Double flip. Branded Entertainment's been around for a long time, but it's clearly making a surge, and that's what fight number 3 is about. Damani, who do we got?
He's an Academy Award-winning producer and the founder of Sugar 23. He's built a career across major film and television projects. He won an Oscar, and tonight he's competing for applause from marketers. Stay humble, my friends. Please welcome Michael Sugar. An executive at Publicis Media, overseeing one of the largest media budgets in the world. A former agency leader and active singer-songwriter with music on Spotify. He runs one of the biggest media budgets in the world and still finds time to drop a single. Please welcome Joe Lunenfeld.
I'm not gonna lie, this is the fight I've been looking forward to. I'm not gonna lie. And this is how we're gonna divide up this one. Brandon Entertainment. This guy's gonna take the Stranger Things model. This guy's gonna take the Mr. Beast model. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Michael Sugar's first. You got 45 seconds.
Well, hello. As a startup in this advertising world, it's awesome to go against Publicis. So I'm sure that my great ideas will be taken and then marked up 20% by the end of the night. But I love the creator economy. It's crucial. However, that's a media buy. The opportunity for brands in this moment is to build brand over time by connecting through premium entertainment.
45 seconds, sir.
So this isn't even a creative debate. This is a math problem. Top 3 movies in box office last year drew 75 million viewers. Stranger Things, the first 3 months, season 5, drew 130 million viewers. Mr. Beast gets 200 million views per upload. Dhar Mann gets over 1 billion views in a month. This is not about a debate. This is replacement. Second of all, Hollywood is slow. It takes hundreds of ideas, years at a time, millions of dollars of investment. Creators flip the model. They come with built-in audience. They come with distribution and loyalty. And if something's not working today, they fix it tomorrow. And they welcome brands.
No.
Finally, Michael. Is that it?
Say again?
I was going to say, you've had an incredible career. You have an Oscar, and that's amazing. But you optimize for award shows. We optimize for the algorithm.
All
Well,
right.
you've done a phenomenal.
30 seconds.
I totally agree. You've addressed the problem of fragmentation by having creators work for 48 hours and then it goes away. We think premium entertainment can last for many, many years. And your point about Mr. Beast is well taken, which is why I'm so proud that he's spending all of his time focusing on getting on Amazon to do long-form content, which is what most of these creators want to do right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Go 30 seconds.
Hollywood needs creators. Creators don't need Hollywood. You're begging for distribution. They are distribution, okay?
That's so true. I was thinking about that preparing for today when I thought about the tens of thousands of creators who were responding to Barbie, which took a defunct negative brand to the billions, and I'm glad they had something to talk about.
I don't even need to call these rounds out. We have a fight.
So look, I love the idea of premium. Premium is something that middle-aged people say when they don't understand the future, okay? Premium to who? Premium to my 14-year-old daughter who lives and dies with Alex Chamberlain, who loves to watch iShow Speed. These people are not just creators, they're studios, they're future studios.
Was that Shannon Reed?
Yeah, it is. I'm going to shout out my daughter who's here tonight from the University of Miami. So we're talking about that next generation right there. Look, I hear you. But I'm going to be honest, one of the biggest shows to make a comeback on streaming services with her generation was Seinfeld. The catalog matters, and the catalog has longevity.
You go first.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. The catalog has longevity, but what also has longevity is a daily relationship with every genre, every category, and the person that you connect with every day and that your kids grow up with.
I think we should call your daughter right now on my phone and ask her what brands she remembers from her favorite creators that she watches on YouTube.
She's eating a Mr. Beast bar right now.
Go ahead. Just keep it going. You don't need me.
I'm trying to get her off sugar. Michael Sugar.
Let's get this back on track.
Let's
I want
do
to
it.
give you 30 seconds. Take it on.
Look, creators are crucial. You gotta use them, but it's fragmentation that every marketer I talk to is trying to solve for. And then you have done a brilliant job, no question, about addressing that in short form, quick. You're right, it's quick. But the endurance of long form entertainment has changed culture. Look at the White Lotus. Everyone talks about the White Lotus effect. The Four Seasons wasn't even mentioned in the White Lotus. You got Delta, Amex claiming it changed their whole business, right? And certainly the Four Seasons. And that was an accident. Queen's Gambit, chess, 300%, the whole industry year over year, by accident. Brands can manufacture the accidents. We just need the brand leaders to empower their marketers to think long term for a change, not have quarterly KPIs where they're going to get fired if they don't match it, because brand over time with agentic AI is going to be the solve.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. 30 seconds, I'll give you a little more.
Close.
Say again?
The last statement?
No, I'll tell you when it is.
Okay. Yeah, so that's incredible. And those, in hindsight, those were all great hits, right? But that's a lottery ticket, right? 70-80% of all these shows and movies fail commercially and they don't find an audience. I'm talking about a portfolio. If you were going to your CFO and you said, I want to invest millions of dollars in a lottery ticket or a portfolio approach, which would they choose?
They would choose to be a brand that sold DVDs in red envelopes and decided to create the ultimate loyalty program in disguise by bringing the world content. Same with the company that brings packages to my house in some obscene quantity every day, because they recognize that entertainment is the ultimate loyalty program in disguise. So yes. Oh, here we go. Let's have it.
I have a build on that, and I want you guys to build on it because I have mad respect for both of you, and I love both sides of this. The question for me becomes around branded entertainment. And when you think about what Mr. Beast is able to do is democratize access to content, creating zero distance with the community that he actually serves. The question for this on branded entertainment is, how do you do that? How do you eliminate that friction point for people to actually get access to those amazing things from the days that you used to do DVDs in red envelopes?
You bring brands in early. You bring brands in at the beginning to collaborate with the creative people instead of having partnership people and media buyers try to decide what they think will lever the brand message, and actually get the brand message by telling the world what you want the brand to feel by the entertainment you stand behind. Bringing them early is cheaper, it gives the brands outsized impact, outsized upside, and it will actually deliver the brand ethos through that entertainment. Just like putting your name on a stadium, but this is a stadium that goes into millions of homes, not 20,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah, we all know showrunners love brands, and they love to change their storyline to account for a brand. That's just something that, you know, is their favorite thing to do. But you talk to a creator, and they are obsessed with brands they want to incorporate into their show. They want to collab and build brands together. They want to release things together. They are additive to every part of...
Who's that? Todd.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad. And I will say that when you bring the brand early, and if you look today and type in my name and NASCAR, you will see that Amazon has given a massive 1-hour drama commitment to us with a brand because the brand was in early enough so that they were able to get what they wanted across without interrupting, without, I challenge all the marketers here who put money in F1 to see how happy they were with their investments.
Joel?
Yeah, look, again, this is an example where we're trying to hold on to a high-risk plan that takes creators and really kind of pushes them off to the side. Why does Hollywood go to creators when they need to find relevance and bring brands in?
Well, they want people to talk about the relevance they've created to make sure that niche markets know about it. And so we use creators the same way brands do to activate a short-term message, not a long-term goal.
Yeah, again, short term, if you take a look at, name 5 of the top creators and follow their audiences, how they grow with them, and they grow with their views every week, every month. They grow up with them, and they care about them. They care about what they do, and they buy their brands also. So I just think that we're thinking about loyalty as measured by what metric versus actual real-time metric. These creators think in minutes and seconds of engagement. Brands want that. They don't need the kind of old school long tail metrics.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring it home. You're going to go first. 30 seconds, wrap it up.
It's really simple. Both are important. But if you want long-term brand loyalty, you got to invest in the kind of entertainment that people invite into their home and pay to watch, not to skip. Creators, phenomenal. We need them every day. And you're right, Mr. Beast, Dar, outliers, lottery tickets like you called. There are hundreds of thousands of other that we talk about who haven't really made much hay for the brands. So the opportunity is to work together, invest in premium entertainment, use the creators to promote those brands, leverage that entertainment to put your message as a brand to the community at large. And the future is changing. And showrunners and actors and directors, they love this new model.
30 seconds, bring it home. Last word.
CMOs are the future showrunners, and they choose what they want to bring. I'm going to read a quote. There are millions of companies that need advertising and millions of creators that are better equipped than anyone to ideate and execute. From Michael Sugar interview with McKinsey. I agree with you on my point.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. I have no idea where this is going, so I need your help. Who thinks Joel Lunenfeld won this fight? Michael Sugar. That was a tie from my mathematicians in the back, and we are going to do it again. Please give it everything you have. It was too tough. I know you thought you
But
won.
Publicis
I know you
bought
thought
10
you won.
tables. It's not fair.
Not on my watch.
Go for the little guys.
Not on my watch. Joel Lunenfeld. Michael Sugar. Damani, who do we got? By a nose hair, Michael Sugar is the victor. Congratulations, boys. Best fight ever. Best fight ever. Best fight ever. Told you. Wow. Better than I thought it would be. Fantastic. Okay, so this is an interesting little story. We're going back to AI, all right? But last year at Cannes, everybody begged to have ad tech fight. We had never done it before. We only had agencies fight, okay? We did an ad tech fight. I thought they were going to mention their products and all that good stuff. The audience booed them if they said anything about what they did. So I presented a bunch of the CMO topics to these 2 AI startups that we have coming up next, and they chose something that has nothing to do with their product, which I think you're going to love. So the fight is AI and what it's going to do to jobs in the marketing industry. Let's fight. Who do we got? Okay, Damani, let's bring our fighters in.
The co-founder and CEO of Mutinex, focused on marketing measurement and media mix modeling. He's from Sydney and known for being analytical, direct, and very competitive. And he built a company on measurement, so he's about to fact-check this entire industry in real time. Please welcome Henry Innis. The co-founder of Framewerx.ai, a former British commando and longtime Hollywood VFX expert. He's lived and worked across multiple countries and industries. And he's had so many careers and lived in so many places, we're not entirely sure he's not a spy. Please welcome John Attard.
Okay. Let me break it down for you. Henry's going to make the job growth argument. He's going to make the not job growth argument. Easy peasy. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Go for it, Henry. You got 45
well, no
seconds.
one told me how to fight a fucking commando. But I think 2 points when it comes to AI and job growth. Firstly, our businesses are full of backlogs. They're not full of actually growing businesses. Let's get rid of the fucking backlogs from corporations. Second thing is that ultimately there are 36 million businesses that have never been serviced, that are small businesses that cannot afford a production budget for all of the ideas that we're talking about. AI is going to expand the total addressable market of who can participate in the marketing economy, and that's a great thing. We're about to have 36 million businesses come online to actually engage with ideas for the first time ever.
You got 45 seconds for your open, Mr. Attard.
That's great, but we're at a marketing conference and we're talking to people who, let's be honest, do we care about whether there's going to be more jobs or less jobs in the future, or do we care if we have jobs? In an industry where there's a convergence of content, convergence of media, where we're automating things, where we're becoming agentic, where in the next 2 years, we've gone from 50 years in the future for AGI to predictions to 29. What do we really care about? Is the answer, is there going to be more or are there going to be less jobs? Or is the real question in that future, what is our value and what is our job in that future?
I mean, OpenAI has been promising to replace us in our jobs for the past 3 years in 6 months. So I don't think they've made any meaningful progress towards it, realistically. We still have people employed doing creative. We still have people employed doing marketing. And I think it's, if you look at the entire history of everything that's happened in a technological shift, are there less people employed in digital content now since the birth of the internet, or more? Answer, there's more. When you make something cheap, people do more of it. Simple as that, simple economics.
30 seconds.
I agree. You make something cheap, you automate it, you make more of it. That doesn't necessarily mean more jobs.
So why are there 2 million digital creators?
Last year, 26% of copywriters were counted by marketing companies. This year, we're projecting 31%. So when we talk about AI and we talk about ChatGPT or Sora, we're not really talking about AI. We're talking about the AI that we're being sold to the general public. But if you take the whole workflow, everything that we do from inception all the way to delivery, distribution, and post-distribution, all of those processes, there are so many processes in there that are automatable. You automate those, then your job, or the job of automation disappears. It gets replaced by more time for real creative.
Here we go. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so 2 things. One, we saw a ton of layoffs during the pandemic. People were losing jobs right, left, and sideways. We've been through a digital pullback, et cetera. And yet, we realized we needed a lot of those jobs back. I'll start there. The second point I want to make is we believed, and one of the very first industries that was expected to be disrupted by AI was radiology, the medical practice of radiology, because you can train it on every piece of data you ever have to detect cancer, and it is better than the human eye. And so we expected we were no longer going to need radiologists, and yet radiologists are the most in demand they have ever been in their entire careers.
I don't disagree. But what you're doing is you're taking a complex system and you're talking about one component. So if you talk about the analysis of radiology, looking at the image, drawing conclusions that then a human being comes and curates, I agree. But the AI is going to be able to present way more information to that one individual, which is the same thing in marketing. In marketing, one person is going to be able to eliminate the repetitive tasks and do more.
But now we need more.
All right.
Yeah.
Come on, John.
So
30 seconds.
Apparently, we automated media buying 10 years ago. Are there more media buyers today or less media buyers today? I think we'd all agree there's way fucking more media buyers today than there ever has been. It's absolutely true to say every time we have these high-fabled automations, we have massive increases in jobs. It has happened in the internet. There were 200,000 journalists employed full-time in content in 2000. There are 2 million people employed full-time in digital content creation in America today. That's a 10x increase. History is not with you.
30 seconds.
But what you're doing is you're saying, okay, well, if I was a typesetter pre-internet, then when the internet came, I became an internet mogul. That's not what's happening. What's happening is it's not a question of more or less jobs. It's a question of seeing what the future is, preparing yourself for that and for those jobs. Yes, there may be more jobs. There may be less jobs. But really what's important is the job we are doing today, the job that you're doing today, is going to change. It's going to change drastically. So you either accept that and take advantage of that future, or you don't and fall behind your competitor that is.
So sorry, is anyone doing the same job today that they were doing 5 years ago? Can anyone put their hands up and say their job has stayed the same for 5 years? Fuck no, it hasn't. Jobs change all the time. Jobs descriptions change all the time. Saying that we're in a static job for the rest of our career is fucking lunacy. Does not make any sense whatsoever.
Well, we're talking about the evolution of work and automation and moving forward. But the difference is that when we're talking about AI, we're not just talking about technological increments in our job. We're talking about societal shift. This year alone, in the holiday period, $262 billion worth of retail sales. 20% of that was attributed to AI decisions. We're not just talking to human beings. AI is going to be making decisions for the consumer. So unless we learn how to understand that new ecosystem, how we can talk to human beings and the machine that will now be the filter between you and the human being, you're going to lose market share.
So who's going to do the agentic engine optimization? Who's going to do all of the life cycle work? Who's going to figure out which agentic workflows to deploy? Who's going to figure, like, you're literally just listing off jobs for people in this audience to have. Like, I just don't understand. Like, you're literally describing all of the jobs that are going to be created to have more marketing jobs live and in real time. So thank you for making my argument for me.
Well, to give you an example, SEO searches and looking at SEO searches, the way that AI is changing the way that the consumer interacts with things.
What the fuck do you think SEO is?
SEO will be different, but now what you're talking about is you're talking about a change. What we're going to see is a change in what we're doing, and we're going to see a different paradigm. Before now, it affected our work, but now it's affecting the way that our consumer, the way that our buyer, B2B, B2C, how that entire economic infrastructure functions. If we don't adapt to that and learn that and take the jobs that we have and change them, it's true. You need an army of people to do things, but now one person assisted by AI can do analysis much more quickly because it's mathematics than you can do it with an army of people.
All right, I'm going to cut you. 30 seconds.
Kind of a little bit like the internet with blogs, right? But we got way less people employed doing blogging and content. Oh, no, wait, we've got 10 times the people now employed in that. Like, what you're saying just doesn't hold up under any historical analysis, under any data analysis. Apparently, software engineers were all automated about 6 months ago. I'm employing more of the fuckers today than I ever have. So, you know, if you look at the job statistics on software engineering, despite big companies making layoffs and all these kind of headlines, what's happened? Net job creation of software engineers is up 100,000 in the US over the past 6 months. That's what job creation looks like. We're not arguing do the jobs all stay the same. We're not arguing do we sit there and all do the same thing. We're arguing are there more jobs in marketing? History says yes.
30 seconds.
Marketing is a consultancy. It's a job where you have a brand, you go to a marketing company, you say, I need this because it's out of reach. As AI gives more people the capability to do things, they're going to be able to do more things and maybe bring those things internally. The question that we're talking about here, and what we're talking about, if you own a brand or if you're a marketer, the market will expand. How much of that market you capture and how much you expand and you grow is dependent on how much you embrace AI. The idea that things are going to be the same is not true. And the idea that automation doesn't deliver jobs is counterintuitive. If that was the case, why automate? We automate to take the processes that are repeatable, make them something that can be done by machines so that human beings can spend the time on the one thing that AI can't do, and that's original thought and original creativity.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. You got 30 seconds to bring it home.
So an economist called Jevons actually studied this. It's called Jevons paradox. It's the idea that every single time we have automation, we radically increase the volume of jobs as things get cheaper. History supports this. The data supports that there's going to be more jobs. And we're not arguing about do our jobs all stay the same. Like, that's not the argument. We're arguing, are there going to be net more jobs in marketing? Total addressable market expands to all small businesses and a massive increase to the actual work that we want to do. Hell yeah, it's going to increase.
All right, 30 seconds. You got the last word, John.
So let's say that there are net more jobs, right? The question that I proposed at the beginning isn't, is it more jobs or less jobs? The question is, what is my ROI and what job do I have in that future? The one thing that I do know is doing what we're doing today and how we're doing it today isn't what is going to work tomorrow. Embrace the things that can be automated. Embrace the things that bring production costs down to zero. Then you can invest your money and you can invest your time and you can invest your resources in the things that will differentiate, and that will be creative. Maybe more people, it may be less, but the one thing it isn't, it's what you're doing today.
All right. If I could just tell you anecdotally, I do a fighter brief for every fighter pair where we go through and figure out what side they're going to be on, and these guys got into an argument on their fighter brief. That probably shouldn't surprise you. So let's see who won this fight. Give it up for John Attard. Okay. Give it up for Henry Innis. And it's Henry. Congratulations. Henry Innis, folks. All right, one more. Let's fight. Ladies, we have saved the best for last. We have a fight between two women executives, and it is a great fight. Now, because we saved the best for last. That's why. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. They're just the warm-up, right? They're just the pre-game. They're just the warm-up band. We're now having the big act, okay? So, our last fight is a fight on media, okay? They're gonna love this. The fight is, what drives performance? The creative side or the data side? Damani, who do we got?
She's the VP of Creative Solutions at Clinch, with a career rooted in storytelling and brand building. She's known for strong creative leadership across ad tech. And she goes by Hondo, because at her level, full names are optional. Please welcome Jessica Hondolero. The EVP at Omnicom, leading retail and commerce media strategy at a global level. She's focused on data-driven performance and large-scale media systems. And she runs retail media, which means she figured out how to monetize the part where you were already buying something. Please welcome Elizabeth Neubauer-Donovan.
This is an easy one to tell you how it breaks down. Easy one to tell you how it breaks down. Creative, data. You're going first. 45 seconds, Jess.
Creative packs the final punch over data because, honestly, without creative, you don't have anything. Creative is what people respond to. Everybody feels creative. What are the best creative campaigns that people know? Nike, Just Do It, Apple, 1984. That's not targeting. That's culture, right? Right? Ultimately, creative is going to give you that final punch that you need in order to survive it. I love data, right? But ultimately, we hold the key. And you could have all of the targeting in the world that you want, but if you show nothing at the end, what is it going to do? Nobody's going to speak to that. Nobody's going to jump on that. And when it comes down to it, what's the most prestigious award in advertising?
All right.
Online, right?
You got 45 seconds and you're open. Go.
Well, first, Michael said he saved the best for last. Do we know that 9% of women are CEOs? I guess no men wanted to fight us today. But we're happy to be here. She said that the key to creative unlocks, but data performs. And without data, we don't have measurement, we don't have outcomes, and we need to support the solution through that omni-channel journey.
You got 30 seconds to rebut. Go, Jess.
What's the most prestigious award in advertising? Cannes Lion. What are they celebrating? Creative. Data awards? Are there data awards? If they are, they're not in the south of France. They're more like at the Ramada in Atlantic City, right?
30 seconds. You got 30 seconds, Elizabeth.
It's funny because all the yachts at Cannes Lions are the tech companies, the data that fuels all the creative and the outcomes.
Go ahead.
Great, you've just optimized your way to nothing, right? If you don't have anything to show at the end, what are people going to click on? Air? No. You need something to present. I have tons of clients that have things that they want to show. They've got all this media plan, whatever else. Sometimes they only show the single creative. What does that do? Nothing at the end.
Well, I think we could agree that data is going to fuel the right creative, and it'll make sure that you're getting the right message at the right time through all those channels, whether you can't run anything without the data that fuels it.
But if you don't have the right creative, all you're doing is annoying the right person at the right time. Means nothing at that point.
I can't argue her with that, but
Yes, you can.
I will. So what's important about creative and the brands and what they focus on? They're focusing on their identity resolution, meaning they're touching the right person at the right time through that moment, through that path of purchase. So let's make some money.
Jess?
Regardless, I've been served the right creative at the right time for something I already bought. So if
Then
it's
your
not-
data wasn't good.
If it's not a good strategy, then it doesn't work, right?
I don't know.
Someone's about to buzz through. Nope.
Nope.
He's close.
I'll buzz, and it's for you. I'll fight with you.
Thank you.
So listen, at the end of the day, when you see a pre-roll ad on YouTube, what do you hit? You hit skip, right? When you see an ad come on a TV commercial, you pick up your phone. The ad was delivered. The data says it was delivered. The consumer is not paying attention unless there is actually something interesting to look at, to talk to engage with at the end of the day. And so how can you argue that if it's shit in, it's shit out? No matter how good your data is, you can reach any human on earth. Half the metrics are all these algorithms that we've built up to feel good about the performance we have. You think about Nielsen, you think about all the measurement. Yes, lower funnel you can measure in actual clicks. As you get to a lot of upper funnel, it's a lot of bullshit, and you know that. So I would like to respond to, if you have shit creative, how do you get a consumer to engage with your brand? Even if you're reaching them.
I'm not disagreeing with Todd or Clinch, but I would say that how are you going to reach the right person if you don't have the right data and identity resolution? The creative can be done perfectly, but if you're reaching the wrong person and you're not identity ready.
A buzz within a buzz.
And the reason I'm buzzing within a buzz is because if you have the right reach, the right person, but you have the wrong creative, you're not getting anywhere.
Doesn't matter.
You're not going to have the wrong creative if you have the right data to create the creative.
The data to create the creative.
Yes.
At the end of the day, like the right creative, and especially in today's world with the internet, with phones, well, everyone opts in to the right creative. People will find the right creative. Have you ever had a text message from a friend? Have you ever read about a piece of creative in an article? Have you ever watched something in culture that is happening that a brand connected to? That wasn't because they had the right data telling them to reach this human on this day, at this moment, at this time. It's because it's a fucking interesting idea.
Go ahead. You got 30 seconds, Elizabeth, and we'll hand it back to Jess.
Well, maybe 30% of the time, because if you're not targeting the right person, you're not going to get the right outcome. But I do agree, and I think Jess and I talked about this, as women, we like to ensure that creative and data are coming together. So I think we could solve that together, unlike any of the men that came on this stage today.
Oh, 30 seconds, Jess.
Shit in, shit out, right? If the creative's not good, it's not gonna work. You need to have the human making the creative, thank you to who said that earlier.
Yes.
You also understand who you're talking to, but you can also put that creative out there, assuming that they're there. Good creative will get people to engage. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong.
And another buzz.
Jess, when you do the research to figure out what that good creative is going to look like, when you look for where that idea is stemming from, when you go look for that inspiration, Is it not coming from research? Is it not coming from consumer intelligence? Is it not coming from data departments that are trying to help you understand what it is the consumer wants or what you're trying to sell?
You are proving my point that data fuels creative. Creative is the end, creative is the closer. If you do not have the closer, you do not have that conversion, that engagement, that time spent. You do not get it if you cannot speak to the person on the other side of the screen.
30 seconds.
I would have to say yes, but data informs the research, the metrics to get that creative to move forward the right way. So if you're not ready to reach your consumer at the right time, it doesn't matter. Creative is the second piece, data comes first.
All right. I want you to wrap it up with your closing argument, and then you get the last word.
Again,
Unless you're buzzed.
all right, I love data. I've worked with data my entire life, but at the end of the day, if I am going to speak to the user, the creative has to be good. It can't be shit creative. It cannot be just you need to make it creative. It has to have some sort of connection with somebody. It has to speak to them. So if the data informs me, that just makes the creative better, but it does not make the creative.
You got the last word, 30 seconds, Elizabeth.
Didn't Todd say earlier that people just scroll by an ad? So if an ad is showing, say, for example, in retail media through that path of purchase, and you get a quick ad of 2 for $5, I think we know the person, we know where they are, and they're going to make the purchase.
Buzzed on her close. Go
Even
ahead.
if someone is going to skip the ad, there's also the counter where I may not have been served that ad, but Todd loved it so much that he thought about me and he said he cared enough to share it. That's what good creative does. It lives in the cultural currency. It lives in an emotional resonance of brands. And it lives in a space where it compels you to click to share because you care enough and because it was engaging.
I'll give you some more time. Go ahead and close it.
No one in the history of my life has sent me an ad saying it was so great if it wasn't targeted correctly.
All right, we're going to vote. Okay. You guys can argue later.
Take it backstage.
Give it up for Elizabeth. Give it up for Jessica. That was pretty close, but the winner is Jessica Hondolero. Congratulations. You got to say something? Oh, we're almost done. We're almost done. I'm going to wrap it up. Well, I hope you thought that was real content. Who here is going to Cannes? All right. If you want to be behind and supporting content like this in Cannes, then we're going to talk tomorrow because we are going to be at Cannes and we're going to have a special musical guest as an after party, all part of the entire function. But if you don't and you want to support boring sessions and things like that, then go somewhere else. But if your checkbook's ready, because everybody's doing Cannes budgets right now, I'll be around all day tomorrow with Stephanie Vandenberg, who is now brought onto the Digital Fight Club team. So, meet me tomorrow. Thank you very much for a great evening, and good night.